Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College Application and Website Development, or AWD1100, Programming Fundamentals with C# course, I've been doing a series of video presentations based on the PowerPoint slides for the textbook that we're using for the class, that being the one shown on the screen right now, Muroc C# 7th edition. So far I have done presentations for chapters 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 11. And I'm partway through chapter 10 here, so I'm going to pick it up right there. Where I left off last time was right here, talking about adding a new item dialog box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to, this is what I had up here before, and this is the way I typically do it. I'm not saying this is good or bad, but this is not in your book. I'm going to right mouse click on here and I'm going to add a new project. It will be a Windows Forms app, and I always call it All American. If you say I don't know what you're doing, bear with me for a minute if you would, please. All right, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to make, let's make each one of these about the same size. So what is that? It looks like it's 1065 by 793. 1065, write that down so I don't forget it. 1065 by 793. All right, and on here I'm going to make this first form. This will be called FRM main. Yes, I want to change it, and I'm going to put the text in there as main form. I'm not going to worry in this particular example about each page is going to have about 3 buttons on it, so I'm not going to worry about things like setting the tab order, etc. It should be fine the way it is. In fact, this first page will have 4 buttons on it. So let's see. Let's make this a different color. You'll understand hopefully exactly what I'm doing in just a minute. So let's make this, I don't know, let's make this turquoise. No, I don't like turquoise for this. Purple is fine. Okay, so I'm going to put 4 buttons on here. And what each one of these buttons is going to do is it's going to open up a new form. So I'm right here. I want to come in and set up my font for each one of these buttons. Again, as always, 18 point and bold. And I'll show you a couple things which I think are kind of neat about these. So that'll be red, white, blue, and exit. All right, so this one is going to be called BTN Red. This one will be called BTN White. This one will be called BTN Blue. And this one will be called BTN Exit. Let's put the actual text in there for each one of these. And red. And let's lock our interface into place. I know there's not real much to it, but it's still, okay, that looks good. So we've got 1065 by 793, and let's do our button placement also. So we've got 111, 180, 117, 605, 341, 605, 558, 605, and 771, 605. Okay, and the size of these buttons is 164.71. All right, so the idea is when I click this button right here, I want it to open up a brand new form. Okay. And when I click the next button, whoops, when I click the next one, I'll want it to open up a brand new form, etc. Okay, so hopefully what I'm saying at least makes a little bit of sense. Where am I here? Okay, so let me close this and go back to here. Okay, so I'm going to come in and I'm going to create another form. This is the first time I've done this. So I'm going to right mouse click on my project name, click add, and I can either go down towards the, where is it? About 2/3 of the way down and choose form, or I can click new item and from there choose form. Okay? All right. And you'll notice here I'm under the Visual C# items. We'll look at some of the other ones, especially the data one when we get into the database chapter. All right, so I'm going to call this right away. I'm going to give it a better name. So this will be FRM red. And then we're going to create another one. This time let's choose the form down here. And this will be FRM white. And we will do one more. And this one will be FRM blue. All right, so I now have 4 forms in my whole thing here. The only one that's really complete is, whoops, my main one right here. So let's go and finish the other one. So let's go to red. First thing we want to do is let's set the size to 1065 by 793. So that's done. Now let's put our 4 buttons out here. And these buttons will be 164 by 71. Again, there will be 4 of them. The first one will be at 117,605. All right, let's immediately go and set the font size and the boldness. Whoops. And this one, the first one said red, white, blue. This one will say blue. So this will be BTN blue. And I'm just going to put this stuff on it right away. The order in which you do that doesn't matter. So blue. Oh, and somehow it looks like I lost my boldness. There we go. There we go. All right. And I'll move these and put them into the exact right place in just a second. Okay. So this second button, in fact, this should be white, sorry. So that should be BTN white. And the text on it should be white. Whoops, that's a little funky. There we go. The next button should be at 341,605. And this will be blue. So this will be BTN blue. All right. And this next one will be BTN. In fact, I'm only going to have 3 buttons on here. So this one will be BTN main. Oops. And I'm going to get rid of this one. So let's just delete that. Okay. So this one will be at so we've got location 117,605, 341,605, 5. It should be 558,605. And again, this one was called BTN main. So we'll put main form right there. Well, that's the name, so I screwed that up. So BTN main is fine. This should say main form. And finally, this should be red in color. Nice red, so there we go. Let's lock our form into place. All right, now 2 of them are done. So let's do the white. Okay, the first thing we'll do is we will change the background color and actually make it white. Okay, let's change the size to 1065 by 793. Let's add our 3 buttons. The size of the buttons again is 164 by 71. Okay. This is what? This is white, so this will be BTN blue. And the position on it will be 117,605. Let's change the size of our font. Definitely see a pattern emerging here. Whoops, I want that to be 18, not 88. There we go. All right, so we've got here BTN blue, and it should say blue. Again, we will copy this twice. The second one will be BTN red. It will say red on it. And it will be positioned at 341,605. Had it almost there. And this last one again will be called BTN main. It will say main form. Whoops. And it will be positioned at 558,605. All right, let's again lock that into place. And finally we've got our red, we've got our white, we'll do our blue. As always, let's start by changing the size. So that will be 1065 by 793. A couple other things I guess I wasn't doing that I should do right away, and those are I should come up and the text, I should say blue form, something like that. So that's done. And I should also make sure that when it starts, the start position, I want to make that center screen just because it looks nicer. All right, so let's change this color on here to blue. All right, let's add our 3 buttons again. And they are all 164 by 71 for size. We will, as always, change our font and bold it. Okay. This one will say BTN red, and it will say red. This will be our white, and this will be our main. Just a second. So red, that's all done. This will be BTN white, and it will say white, and it will be positioned at 341,605. So this first one, this should have been at 117,605. The second one will be at 341,605. And the last one, which will be btn main. And it'll say main form. And that one will be at 771.605. No, it will not. It'll be at 558.605. There we go. Let's lock our interface into place. Okay, so it now says blue form, and this is good, and it's center screen. This now says white form, and its start position is also center screen. And this one says red. We'll say red form in just a minute. And again, its start position will be center screen. And finally, our main, which is our kind of purplish form, will be, no, not center parent, center screen. There we go. So now our positioning is all finished. I'm going to do a file, save all. Now, nothing magical is going to happen. If I run it right now, it's just going to show the purple. Well, it's not going to even do that. If I run it right now and change my start project, it's just going to show this one because none of the buttons have been programmed yet. And that's totally fine. We're going to do that right now. All right? Okay. So when we click the red button, what we want to have happen is we want a red form to emerge. We want to go for that. So we want to say FRM red, and we can call this whatever we want. I'm just going to call it red form equals new FRM red. All right. And then as it says there, we want a red form show dialog. But before we do that, we actually want to hide the form that we're currently at. So I'm going to say this dot, I think this dot hide will work here. So let's see if this works. All right, we'll come back and we'll look at it in just a minute. So file, save all. Let's run this, click our red button, and boom. Okay. Let's put in the other ones. So the white, whoops, let's put in the white. And it's running, and that's why I'm not getting anything. So white. And I'm going to copy this and then just change the name. So this will say FRM white. And then I'll say white form equals new FRM white. And finally, do the show dialog. And as long as we're doing all this, let's do the blue and the exit right away. So again, I'll just copy this. So what am I doing here? All right, and it doesn't matter. I can pick virtually any one of these except for the exit, which we've seen before. So let's grab that exit and let's put in that code as well. You notice I'm not worrying right now about writing another routine or anything like that. We'll cover all that stuff, but just not right now, okay? What did I want here? Oh, I wanted my exit button. Right. So what I'm going to do, let me save this. I'm going to run it a bunch of times. So I'm going to go to red. You see that works. I'm going to run it again. I'm just verifying that everything, all the buttons work. Go to white, and that works. All right. I'm going to go to blue, and that works. And finally, I'm going to go to exit. And that works. So all these work. So what am I doing in here each time? Well, I'm telling it, let's just grab this one. To hide the current form, so we'll put a comment here that says hide current form. Okay? Then make a new instance of the red form. All right, and then finally, make the red form, we'll say for lack of better words, active. And then we do the same kind of thing here. So we hide, we create an instance, and we show the dialog. We hide, we create an instance, and we show the dialog. All right, now hopefully all of that makes sense. And there are ways, and I'm not going to talk about them yet, that we can, what I'm about to do, we can make it easier, but we're not going to worry about that right now. Okay, so this is our red, and our red does not have, FRM red does not have a red button, but we'll bring it up anyway. So let's bring up the white, and we will do this. Instead of making a new instance of the red, we'll make a new instance of the white. Okay, now when we're doing this, this name has to be the same as the actual form name. This name right here, whatever we call it, can be whatever we want. All right, so there's the white. Let's bring that back up. This is red. I'm going to get rid of just one comment on each one of these. So this will be blue. All right, so this is our red. So right now we've got in here in our red, where are we? These two. What about our main form? It's going to be the same kind of an idea, but what we're going to create is a new main form. So this dot hide FRM main, and this will be called main form, equals new FRM main, and this main form here. Okay, now rather than, what I'm going to do here is I'm not going to run it again until I get it all done. So give me a second here. So we now have our red one done. Let's go to our white. In fact, let's try doing it like this. Oh, this is going to work because I just did a massive copy. So this will become okay. Okay, we'll get this done in just a second. Just bear with me if you would. So this will be FRM blue here and here, and this will be blue form. And this will be FRM red. And this will be red form. All right, so those should be done. And let's do our blue one. And let me just go to the code window here. Try to paste that in. Oops, I guess that didn't work the way I wanted. So let's go back to red. Be fine. So red, white, this is blue, so white would be the first, then red, now that didn't take really long. You know, when you think about it, it took maybe, I don't know, 10 minutes or so, hopefully. But I've now got that my blue one should now be done. My white one, unless I goofed up, and you'll see it when I do, will now be done. My red one should now be done. I should be able to switch back and forth between any of my forms and also go back to my main form. So let's run it and try it. So red, white, blue, red. Well, that one isn't working. You can see that. Neither is that. Neither is that. So let's fix those. So that is in our blue form. So something is goofed up in our blue form. White, dialog. I don't know, maybe I didn't save, but that really shouldn't matter. Red, hide red, red. Not sure why that's not working right now, but we'll go back and we're going to look at it all. There's white. Can go to blue. Well, the blue one isn't working, so we'll have to fix that. See if the rest of it's working. So we can go to red. Red can go to white. And I'm having some problems here. All right. So let me pause for just a moment and take a quick look. All right, I think I know what I did wrong here, so let's double check. All these things where I say FRM, I think this should be the word form. In fact, I went and found an old version of this program. If I still have it up here, that I know works. I could have just brought that one up, but I've totally redone it. So let's just open this. Form. Yeah, I need to use. Okay. So, whoops. So this. New. Bear with me for about 2 minutes and we'll have it working. So 3 places. So blue form. There we go. Form, blue form equals new. I think that one has to be FRM blue. Let's double check. Okay. All right, form blue form equals new form blue. So this will have to be form. All of these will have to be changed. So that's all of them in the white. That's all of them in the red. Oops. That's it in the blue. And let's go back to main. Oops. Let's go back to main. We'll look at the code here. All right, let's run it again, and now we'll see what it looks like. Okay, red, white, blue, white. Well, that's still not working. So the blue form still is not working. None of it is. That's interesting. Let's try the red. So the red, I can go to the white. The white, I can go back. Oh, can't do that either. Look at that. Some of it works. It's weird. Form. White. What I did on the old version of this, all right, just so you know, and now I can get rid of all these too. But what I did on the version I did a year ago was I call these the same thing. So I call that FRM red here and here. Got to pause. Well, I'm not sure what the problem is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the one that I had done previously that works. So here's one that has just one form on it. Oops, let me run that again. So let me make this the active. So I can go to red, to white, to blue, back to white, back to red, and I can exit, etc. Now that's changing everything in just one form. So what you'll notice is all I'm doing in this case, and I'll go over the other one in just a minute, but I'm just changing the background color. So in other words, if I click, this is all just on one single form. If I click the red button, I'm setting the back color to red, white, I'm setting the back color to white, and blue, the back color to blue. Now we'll talk about this exit application. We'll get into that in just a bit. So because it is going to be not in this one, but in the other one, it'll be a little bit different. Now, with that said, that's this one. And let me close a bunch of this stuff because there's just a lot of stuff open right now. So again, the one I'm showing you right now, the one I'm going to show you works. All right. And I looked at, for example, I brought up the page for the blue form. And other than the fact I named them differently, it looks exactly the same. So here's the other multi-form one. So instead of FRM, this was back when Microsoft wanted you to use the name of the control rather than the extension for the control. So form instead of FRM. So you notice there's a blue, a red, and a white, and then there's our main. So if I go until, say I want to run this one, set a startup, you'll notice how nicely it works. I don't want that anymore. I don't know why it's still running that one. Multiple form. Oh, that is right. Okay, so red to white to red to blue to white. I can go home from any of these to blue, home to white, home to red, red to white, red to blue, red to home, white to red, white to blue, white to home, and blue to red, blue to white, and blue to home. They all work. In addition, I've added an exit button onto each one of these. And the reason I did that was something kind of cool that you can do, and it'll be a little bit of a lead-in or a bleed-in to the next chapter, and that is this. So yeah, I want to exit. Okay, so what I did here was I added a file that's called Global Methods. There's nothing special about that name, but if I open that file, all right, as it says right here, the steps that I used in here were taken from something I found online at Danny Webb. Let me just grab that, and then I can bring the URL up. And that is here. It's going to be a little big, but cut it down in just a second. So I know that's pretty big and it's pretty ugly, but DannyWebb.com, programming, software development, threads, etc. And I'll leave that up there for just a moment. But that explained, the idea is rather than writing the same exit routine 4 different times, one for the main form, one for the red button, one for the white button, and one for the blue button, it would be nice to be able to write that routine once and then use it 4 times. And that's what we're doing in here. And that's explained in here. That's where I got it from. So you take a look in here. We've got this thing that we wrote called global methods. Okay? And all it is it's just got our exit in there. You'll notice that it says static. All right, and if you read the URL I just gave you, that'll explain some of that better than I can. But the point is this: now we've got this new namespace that's called globals. Well, what you'll notice is if I bring up main, the first thing that you'll see in our code here is using globals. Since we're using that, we're now able to, this was what I had in there originally for exiting the application, just exactly what we've always done. All right, but now I've changed it, so the exit button is calling global.exit application. What is that? That's from the global methods, and that's exit application. What's neat about that is I'm also calling that from the red. Again, you can see I commented that back out from the white. And from the blue. So it allows us to do a lot of code reuse. And that's what you want to do. Why would I want to go and put this in here? It's not that it's that big, maybe 15 lines or so, 10 to 15 lines. But why would I want it in there 4 times when it's doing exactly the same thing? The main reason is, too, what if I decide I want to add something to it, delete something from it, or modify something in it? Now I only have to modify it in here in my global methods. All right. So rather than saying, do you really want to exit and then exit now, I maybe want to change this to exit the program now. So if I put in here the program, so exit the program now. And if I just run this again, now you'll notice exit the program now as opposed to exit now. And if I say no and I run it from here, exit the program now, exit the program now, exit the program now. So I changed it once and it was reflected in all 4 of these. That's why you do this. All right, that took a lot longer than I wanted it to take, and I apologize for that. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stop with this particular lecture, which didn't get very far. All right, but they showed here how to add a new form, how to add an existing form, and the generated code. So I'm not going to go over any of that because I did my own thing on that, so to speak. How to change the name of the form, you know how to do this. This thing, how to change the name of any event handlers, be real leery about changing too much stuff. The names of too many things. If you change the name of the wrong thing or you change it in the wrong way, what may happen is there may become a disparity, in other words, a difference between your files and the system files, and that can break a program. All right, so I'm going to stop it right here, and I will pick it up in the next part in just a couple minutes.